Want to see a liar?
I want to say it very clearly. I will not defund the police.
Lie.
I am in favor of defunding the police. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Oh wait, another lie.
I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin.
Doesn't wear a hijab.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety.
Maybe he's telling the truth on this one. Oh wait, nope, lie.
The struggle for Palestinian liberation was at the core of my politics and continues to be. I am not, and nor have I ever called for the legalization of prostitution.
You guessed it, lie.
You support decriminalizing prostitution?
Yes, my fundamental belief that sex work is work. I would be happy to work with the president and the administration.
Lie.
We need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government.
I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech.
Lying again.
There are consequences for speaking up in favor of apartheid.
So just find out who you're voting for before you vote who you're voting for.
Now, some of you may be familiar with that clip. I actually posted that as a YouTube short, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. So make sure you're watching my YouTube shorts, all right? Make sure you're watching my YouTube shorts. I got some good ones. I got some good clips. As you just saw there, that was a fantastic one. Perfectly displaying how Zoran Mamdani is a blatant liar. Blatant liar. Now, I also came across another clip that kind of explained why he's that big of a liar. And I want you guys to check it out, and then we're going to get into a clip of, God rest his soul, Charlie Kirk, and what he had to say about Zoran Mamdani before his unfortunate passing, because he was perfectly on point, and I want to dive into that as well. So with that being said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you are new, all right? And let's dive in.
So lying is not always a sin in Islam. Being deceptive is good. And again, Allah is Khair al-Makirin, He is the great deceiver. So you're allowed to be deceptive. God is not just good, He's also bad. So, and that's what I believe is happening in New York.
Really?
So,
you think Mamdani is practicing taqiyya?
1,000%. 1,000%.
He's presenting
the
as
Muslims are laughing at you guys. Like this is the funniest thing. Like, dude, give it 50 more years, entire New York's gonna be Muslim, and then before you know it's gonna be Sharia courts, and then like y'all are. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like I can't even believe. And like you see Europe. You look at Europe, it's happening right now, and then you're like, oh, let's just do it here in New York. Like, it's like, no, like, you have to stop. Like, obviously, taqiyya is working, and they're doing an amazing job at it, and they're fooling everyone. Like, and all the Muslims are, like, so happy that's happening. Like, this is the best thing that could happen in Islam. And he's gonna win, because we're too stupid. Like, no matter how many times ex-Muslims will say, taqiyya is a real thing, they are lying to you, they will take over within 100 years, no one's gonna listen. Because we just assume that our God is the same as their God. We just assume that their God will tell them not to lie, but their God tells them to lie. That's the difference.
But are you could it be that someone like a Mamdani, he's Muslim, he's a practicing Muslim,
So yeah, you heard that there. Intentionally lying to try to garner more power, and you saw it in that first clip. I mean, just a blatant liar. Blatant liar. Yeah, my aunt. Oh, well, I was talking about somebody else who doesn't even live in the United States and has never worn a hijab. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, man, come on, man. Come on. Really? Now, what Charlie Kirk says here in this clip, I think is on point. And man, did we lose a good one, because Charlie Kirk, I think, was definitely ahead of his time. Just check out this clip, because he's 1,000% on point on the rise and why someone like Zoran Mamdani was able to rise up and obviously now win. Check it out.
Can we reorder the economic reality of under 30s before dark political radicalization sets in?
The economic reality.
Correct. It's
there's a topic that's never broached.
Well, here we go.
No, but it's just interesting it's interesting that's your first answer. the economics. I have always noticed, and I am insulated from a lot of that stuff. I'll admit I don't really notice.
I would be
the dinner
otherwise
bill.
if I didn't spend as much time, because we do very well. We're in the top income bracket. So
Well, I just noticed no one talks about it. So I think that's weird. People used to talk about economics. They don't anymore. So you think that's economics is the number one issue for young people.
Oh,
and if we don't address it, we go to dark places. What does that mean?
so a couple things. Number one, the rise of Mamdani should be it's a coming attraction of what is coming next.
Who's Mamdani?
Zohran Mamdani, the Muslim communist that is running for mayor in New York City, who obviously there's a whole rabbit hole we can go down there. He just looks kind of be like central casting, and his ideas are terrible. He wants the city to run the grocery stores, all that. But I think everyone's not everyone, but most people are missing the point of really what this is. This is yet another distress signal by young people to say, hey, if you're not going to fix our life economically, we're going to get very radical politically. Now, let's take a step back. President Trump won the youth vote in many states across the country, in many battleground states. Now, Tucker, 12, 13 years ago when I started Turning Point, if you would have told me that a Republican running for the presidency would be winning the youth vote in Michigan and in Arizona, I'd say, no way. It's an incomprehensible accomplishment of what President Trump was able to do. One of the reasons he was able to win younger voters and younger men, especially in big numbers, is that they were trying to get their leaders' attention. They said, hey, this guy, Donald Trump, he is pledging to go fix our economic anxiety. He is loud. He is going to get your attention. Donald Trump was a distress signal by a lot of young people, especially young men, that were stuck in a credit-centric renter economy. And again, this is what is the rise of Mamdani. It's just another iteration of this, only from the left, which is
a credit-centric renter economy.
Yes, which is the way that we need to focus, that we need to kind of frame this. And conservatives, I think I know why, are just so unwilling to have this conversation. And I'm not even going to get into what we should do about it. I think I have some good ideas. And trust me, I'm not a socialist. I'm a market guy. I like capitalism. I think markets are good. I think entrepreneurship is good. But we need to kind of paint this picture first, because I think I know this for certain, so many people in DC have no idea what I'm talking about when I bring this up to them. And secondly, a lot of people over 50 think this is a foreign concept, and they think, quite honestly, this is just the complaining of young people that don't want to work. So let me kind of paint this picture. It is harder than ever to own a home. We know this, but how much harder? Back when my parents had to go own a home, the price of a home.
How old are your parents?
They're early 70s.
Yep.
So late 60s, early 70s. So baby boomers.
Yeah.
And great parents, by the way, phenomenal upbringing, great values. So back when they wanted to go buy a home in their beginning income years, 1970s, 1980s, home prices were on average about 3 times the average income in America. They are now 7 times the average income in America. Rents have gone up inflation adjusted from about $900 a month to now about $1,500 a month.
Inflation adjusted.
Inflation adjusted. The age of a first-time home buyer in 2008 was 30 years old. It is now 38 years old. First-time home buyer. So when we have a picture of a first-time home buyer,
and that's scary.
You think of, kind of a toddler in one arm, a dog, you're trying to figure it out. 38 years old. So what is causing this? Well, number one, I don't want to get like too Ron Paul libertarian, but the Federal Reserve pumping in cheap money post-2008 has just been a catastrophe. We have spent too much money, borrowed too much money. We have deteriorated our currency. And the purchasing power every generation is getting weaker. So your dollar is actually going less and less as far as it has year over year. So then what is the consequence of this? So you have a generation that is renting a lot more than it's owning. So when you do not own something, why would you defend it? So you find then political radicalization start to seep in, because an entire generation is getting routinely cynical year over year as their net worth either stays at 0 or goes into negative.
Bingo. Rest in peace to a legend, Charlie Kirk, man, because he was on point. He was 1,000% on point there. What we need to focus on is bringing the prices down and making sure that, the youth in this country can feel a sense of ownership. Because when you own something, you treat it differently. You treat it differently. You know, we all know that, right? Just across the board. But yeah, man, I just found that clip so crazy that he was that spot on with that. That spot on. I mean, that was absolutely amazing. We lost we lost a legend, man. We lost a legend. But yeah, that is something that we definitely have to focus on. 100%. 100%. And Uncle Trump needs to speak about it even more, right? Now, I know he is trying to implement some things, obviously things like gas prices, which is big. Obviously, gas goes into, you know, that kind of price goes into everything because we got to transport things. So that's huge. Gas prices have come down tremendously. Also, egg prices have. You know, it's kind of funny how mainstream media was talking about how high egg prices were, and then once they drop, like you don't hear a peep. It's not like, oh yeah, Trump dropped the prices of eggs, because if that was Biden, they would have surely been doing that 1,000%, right? But the statistic that first-time home buyers are now nearly 40, that's a problem. Nearly 40 years old before you can purchase your first home on average. That number should be, I don't know, 26, 27. In my humble opinion, y'all can let me know. What age, at what age do you think should be the average age that, you know, of a first-time home buyer? Let me know in the comments. I would say 26, 27, you know, not fresh out of high school, right? Not fresh out of college either. You got a couple of years under your belt, you know, figuring things out. The brain is fully developed, you know what I mean? 26, I feel like that's a good number. 27, not too young, not too old, kind of right there in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to say 26. I'm going to say 26. I'm going to say 26, and I'm going to stick on that. But y'all let me know in the comments. Now, it's 12 years older than that. Nearly 40 years old. The average house now is 7 times a person's yearly salary, the average salary. 7. It used to be 3. It's crazy. And honestly, the quality has gone down tremendously. The quality of these homes has gone down exponentially. I mean, even if you want to look at, I saw something, I randomly came across something where even like the 2x4s, I don't know if you guys have seen it too, like the 2x4s that we have today are not real 2x4s. If you look at the 2x4s that were from like the 70s and the 80s, those were legit 2x4s. You know what I'm saying? Like they were real sturdy pieces of wood. Today's 2x4s ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I have my idea as to why that is, but that's going to require a whole nother, you know, video and topic of discussion, and we going down a whole rabbit hole with that one. And maybe I'll do that on the second channel, but yeah, man, throw out some ideas. How can we correct course before the what did he call it? He called it the dark palette, the dark.
I'll admit I don't really notice.
Hold on.
I would be
dinner
otherwise
bill.
if I didn't spend as much.
Notice no one talks about it. That's economic.
So
is the number one issue for young people.
Oh,
and if we don't address it, we go to dark places. What does that mean?
Go to dark places. How can we address this before we get to the dark place? Because honestly, I don't think Charlie is wrong. I think he's 1,000% on point. But how can we fix it? Obviously, you know, we can talk about building more homes. We can talk about stop printing so much money. You know, there's some things that we could talk about, but I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this. How can we stop the youth from going to that dark place where we've already seen New York City go to, obviously, electing a guy like Zoran because he says, free, 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 even though none of it's going to be free. Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to read back through and see what you guys have to say about that, because it is a serious topic of discussion, and it's something that I think we should take very, very seriously, you know, because if we don't, New York City could become the entire United States. And I know that sounds dark. And I know you're probably like, Rich, that ain't happening. No, it most definitely can. Is it going to happen in 28? Probably not. Probably not. But it'll slowly get there. 100%. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions, all right? Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.